Hello, hello, hello. How are we this evening? So we've got a few of you on Instagram already. Hello, Evie. And is it Nilagren? Hello, lovely to have you with us. And Trash Postcards, lovely to have you with us. We've got Susan on YouTube. So just to let you know, we are streaming on 3 different platforms tonight. We're on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. So I know some of you like to stay on your preferred platform, some of you like to jump across them all to sort of see who's in the chat. I'll try and keep you updated with who's where. So we've currently got 3 of you on YouTube, 3 on Instagram and 1 on Facebook. Hello Pauline, lovely to have you with us. So tonight I am so excited. So excited. This is a really simple technique, really fun, and yeah, I think you're going to be surprised by my surprise ingredient. Mystery ingredient. This is a really fun technique, really simple. Anyone can achieve it. We're going to create the most gorgeous abstract watercolor art, dead easy, with a little bit of magic, a little bit of crafty know-how. Hi John, how are you? Lovely to have you with us. Okay, so, and hi Lisa. Lisa's on Instagram. Hello, lovely to have you with us. Okay, so we are going to be playing with stencils today. We are going to look at a technique called reverse stenciling, which, I will explain more as we go along. Because we are playing with stencils, I do have a cheeky wee discount for you, so this will probably be back to front now, but Stencil 20 if you use Stencil 20 on any of my stencils. So I did give the girls the link to the individual stencils that I was using, but if one of you could possibly pop the link to the whole stencil section, quite a bit of alliteration there, that would be fab, because you actually get 20% off all stencils. So if you're in this live or watching on replay, this code is valid until midnight on Monday. But without further ado, shall we just swizzle you around and get crafting? Thank you, Jan. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lisa. Lisa shared this to the hive. Perfect. Excellent. So let's swizzle you all around and get the lighting sorted. And, oh yeah, see, that's why we have to get the lighting sorted. There we go. So I am going to be playing with various different types of paint. So I have my Kuretake Ganzi Tambi granulating paint. Do not worry if you don't have this. Honestly, any watercolor paint that you have will be fabulous. So first of all, we're just going to create a basic background. I'm so prepped. It's almost like TV land. I've got everything in different stages. I'm very proud of myself. So I'm going to just start off by getting a little bit of water onto this page. Not actually going to cover it all, because what's quite interesting is when you start flicking paint that it reacts differently on wet card and dry card. Thank you, Alison. That's fab. So lovely Alison has shared a link to the stencils on Facebook, and we have Lisa who's done it on Instagram. So thank you, peeps. You're all amazing. Right, so I'm going to start off with some of this granulating paint, and right now we're just trying to get colour down. I'm not thinking. We're literally just going to throw some colour down and see what occurs. What has everyone been up to? It feels really weird going live on a Friday. I mean, Thursday's meant to be my new day. Yeah. We managed 1 week, and then I managed to double book myself yesterday. But so normal service should resume tomorrow. So I'm just literally flicking it on. And what's quite interesting is where it hits wet patches, it sort of breaks out. And where it hits dry patches, it sort of beads. And we get a more interesting result. Now, because this is granulating paint, we kind of see it breaking, so that blue colour that's coming away from it, we get that effect using the granulating paint. You don't need to use granulating paint, you can just use whatever paint you've got. And yeah, it'll work. I mean, I like the effect of that. I thought it was a serendipitous moment because it suddenly was back in stock on Amazon, and I did put a link up saying run, and by the time it got to this evening it's already sold out honestly, this paint just doesn't seem to stay in stock when it gets anywhere. But if you do get a chance, it is fun to play with. That's sort of pooling in the middle a little bit there. I'm just going to lift it. But actually, a lot of the granulated effect that we got from the little piece that I teased came not from the paint, but from just using a normal black pen. So we'll go into that a little bit later. I'm just going to add a little bit more definition. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this dark blue in. Can you pre-order the paints? I'm not sure. To be honest, the link is still active. So if you possibly share the link that I gave you, Jan, because it just says temporarily out of stock. So I'm not sure if you use it that you could possibly, it possibly might be pre-booked. It's not disappeared. The link is still there. It just says temporarily out of stock. So whether you have the ability to pre-book or not, I don't know. I didn't get a chance to sort of look into it. I'm just, at this point, I'm not really thinking. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just trying to get colour down. You can tell I've been doing this all day. I've got a wide range of splatters going all over the place. So yeah, we've got stuff. And then the thing is with watercolour, the best thing to do is not overthink it and let it do its own thing. And probably, I sometimes find like you get little dips here where it's like really pooled, and that's going to be a bit difficult for it to dry. So sometimes I kind of maybe lift little bits up to sort of help with the drying, but it's not essential. And then you just let that dry and do its thing. So here is one that I have prepared already, and it has now dried. Just moving things around here. So we let it dry, and now we're going to pull out the stencils. So the 3 stencils that I'm using today, and remember, you can still order even with it sold out. It will let you buy them in email. Oh, thank you, Susan. That's fab. So yeah, the link that I sent you girls earlier, that one will still work. It is a affiliate link, but you can pre-order the paints, it looks like. Excellent. So I'm using floral vinyls, circled or button circles, I think that one's called, and evergreen bows. That's what I'm using today. And I'm now about to share with you my magic ingredient. Hello Dominique. Hello Clarice. Hello Jill. So lovely to have you all with us. So my magic ingredient is dun, 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 this. I want to know how many people have one of these cleaning sponge things under their sink somewhere. Hi Anjoy, how are you? Does anybody have any of these under their sink? I know you get branded ones and stuff, but yeah, these are under my sink, and we are going to use this to do the reverse stenciling with. And honestly, I know you can lift it with a damp cloth and with a baby wipe and that, and I've done stuff like that in the past, but because these sort of like really scrub to make things clean, I have slightly dampened this already. Because these, do you not have any of these? Honestly, go down to the likes of B&M Bargains and you get these sort of like sponges, and they're great to have in your cleaning cupboard, because it's amazing the things that they clean up. But they're like these intense sponges, and although I've done a resist technique before or a lifting technique before, I've never got it as bright as I have with these. Yeah, so all we're going to do now is build up a little bit of a pattern. So I'm just going to go in, and you can you see how much that colour is lifted already? I'm just going to go in because they're designed for really cleaning. So excited. So I'm just going to lift, and they last for ages as well. Here's the one I was using earlier today. I mean, I'll still use it, but I thought I'd have a nice clean one. Hello Caroline. Yes, John, if you go on the other sellers, it gives you other options. One being a craft company, you can buy the paints. Yours are coming on Wednesday. Okay. So, and then look at how bright that is. Now you do have to sort of clean the little, clean the little, it kind of can shed a little bit, but I've never found anything lift as much as these have. So I'm just going to build a load of patterns, and what we find is I'm just going to keep layering different patterns on top of each other, and the more we sort of lift, the ones at the front become brighter and whiter, and the ones at the back become more subtle. This should be fun because we've got a really dark bit of colour here. Thank you, Lisa. Now, I will say that if you're going to do this, make sure you are using a watercolour card or a mixed media card, because we are playing with a lot of water throughout this process, and it can sort of start to pill slightly. This is mixed media card, and I did find it was pilling a little bit. Look how fab this is. Right. And what I'm doing is I am just building up a little bit of a design. So I've started off with the curve of the vines there, and then I've built up a few of these little flowers. I'm going to use some of these button circles because they're quite a nice abstract shape. And it just helps to build up this design. Hi Tracy, how are you? Lovely to have you with us. Thank you, Lisa. I'm honestly so excited. We've got lots of more magical touches to add to this, but honestly, this is so good, and it's such a cheap and cheerful. You can buy this product dead cheap at the likes of, you know, B&M Bargain. I keep forgetting this. The thing is sellotape to my desk. This is sellotape to the binder, but not sellotape to my desk. So it's kind of moving all over the place. So I've kind of got this sort of round shape, and we've built those shapes up. And then I kind of want to make it a bit more foliagey. So I'm going to sort of follow that curve, but start to take some of these leaves. Now what's quite interesting there is I've actually spread colour rather than removed it. So it's going to be abstract. You're not going to know exactly what you're going to get, but that's okay. But now I'm wanting to use these vines in and around what I've already done. Sorry, losing the ability to talk now. And of course, like, I've chosen to do vines and follow the curve, but it just depends on what sort of pattern you want to do. As to where you want to go with it. I'm just going to take this bit here. Sorry, losing it. I'm so excited, and so look how white that's gone. I think the other piece I had, it's got a bit. So I'm going to come down here and get some of these bits that we've just done a bit whiter. So I think this is a bit wetter, so I think the sponge that I had before was maybe just a bit too dry. And that's what I'm saying, this paper is going to get a lot of abuse because we've put lots of water on it to get the colour down, and put lots of water on it to lift the colour, and then we're going to put lots more water on it again really soon. So yeah, you have to choose a paper that is able to take quite a bit of abuse. It feels ages since you've been able to watch the lives. Oh, what's the good question? Have I missed it? Right, home along. How did you find out how it worked? I saw it on a YouTube video. And I thought that's a good idea. So yeah, I will link her channel at the bottom of this video when I come off. So it was a watercolor artist using one of these. And also, before I saw that, that came up in my feed a couple of days ago, and I wanted to give it a try. But also when I was in Edinburgh at the Fringe, I actually saw that in the art shop they were selling this sort of stuff, but an artist version. So I don't know whether the woman was using one of these versions or an artist version, but it was one of those little sponges. It kind of reminded me, and then I thought to myself, oh, I've got the cleaning version under my sink. I wonder if that works the same as the fancy art version. And it does. Okay, I'm going to try and give this a slight waft with the old heat gun. That's really cool, isn't it? I'm going to give this a little bit of a waft with the old heat gun. I'm going to have to be careful because I have put this on a blending mat, which is not heat protective. Hello, Alistair. How are you? Yes, are you ready, Alison, for next week? I forget that school's starting for you guys next week. It's already been here for like a week and a bit. You obviously missed the important technique. Basically, what I have done is I have used... my husband's about to see this now. I've stolen this from under the sink. And instead of cleaning with it, like most sensible people are, I'm crafting with it. And using it, I've used this sort of magic cleaning sponge through a stencil to lift the colour. Hi Sophie, how are you? Lovely to have you with us. Now, I am using, it's important for this that you use a non-permanent black pen. The reason being, where's my little scrap of paper? If you use a non-permanent black pen, black isn't black. There is no such colour as black. Black is a shade. So to get a true black, you have to mix things like a Payne's grey, which is a really dark blue, a little bit of pink. Pretty much all colours are in black. So if I do this now, when that lifts, what you will find is as it separates there, so you can see there that that's now looking blue, and then as it starts to dry, it'll have a slight... trying to find it if I can get just above the line there. You can start to see it now. You're starting to get a slight pink hue come from it. So this is an Elegant Writer, and I like it because it's a really good pen for doing this. But you will find that most pens that are not waterproof will do that. Yep, black is black. Oh, black is black and not a shade. That's true. Black is black. Black just means the absence of light. If we get technical into it, but it's also really not a colour. And you can see that it's not a colour there because when you use something that's black, it refracts out. When I was at school, we were banned from using black paint. It's my husband saying, when do I ever use to get anything clean? We were banned from using black paint at school because, because it wasn't a colour. So anytime we wanted to create a dark shade or shadow, we had to use, we had to mix up the colour. We weren't allowed to use black from the palette because it tends to look quite dead. But then if you get a good quality black pen, you will find that it will break out into different colours. And the reason being is I need that for the next technique. So this pen I used to do this. So I didn't add any extra colours to this. So all of those greys and those pinks and the slight teal colour came from this one pen. So I'm showing you that because it is good for the next stage. Right. So what I'm going to do now is very loosely scribble. So I'm holding my... What you're saying is so true to Lisa. Is that to my husband saying that everything gets used in the craft room? Or to the discussion on black? Hi Julie, how are you? So I'm holding this pen very I know. It's color is very complicated. It's not a basic thing. It's the way, I mean, actually when you start looking at color, green is every single color but green, and red is every single color but red. It's the way light hits off something. So it's to do with light waves. Yeah, it all gets very, very complicated. Hence why black is absence of color. And yeah, anyway. All I was trying to say is for the pen, you need a black non-waterproof black pen to try and get the effect that we're looking for. So that really cool granulation now, we are going to increase the look of that through just this pen. So I'm holding it really loosely at the back, and I'm not taking it very seriously, and out of, yeah, I'm not trying to create fine art. Out of those various shapes that I've created through the magic sponge, I'm just sort of going to trace some of them. This is not any sort of fine art. I'm literally just picking out the shapes, or shapes that I perceive that are there now, because obviously there was shapes as we sort of started going through it, but they've changed somewhat as they've got layered on top of each other. So I'm just very loosely scribbling around these sort of shapes that we had. And then we're going to have this contrast of the light where we lifted it and the black where we have the pen. So as you can see, nothing very precise, and at this point it looks like I've just killed the gorgeous effect. It's like a reverse colouring book. It is. Now it's making me think that, has Kezia taken over Daddy's phone? Or have you now been influenced by Kezia and I so much that you understand things like reverse colouring books and various techniques? You sneaked into Alison's kitchen. Oh, there's donuts in Alison's kitchen, everybody. There's so much going on in the chat. There's so much going on in the chat. I'm missing it, but apparently there is donuts in Alison's kitchen. Let's all go to Alison's. So I am now sort of picking out some of these shapes. As my very educated and crafty husband has just said, like a reverse colouring book. And we've created a very loose shape like that. Now once I've done that, the way we can turn sort of random childlike scribbles into something that looks a little bit more artifact. We're all running to Alison's kitchen. I could go donuts, but I bet they're not gluten free. Is to take some of these lines and add a little bit of definition to them. Quite often the difference between a scribble and something that looks all very arty and farty is just a little bit of line definition. You quite often see these Pinterest hacks where they just sort of scribble all over a page, but then they sort of round off all the corners and make them sort of slightly curved and black, and then all of a sudden it looks arty. So we're just doing that. We're adding a little bit of this black definition. So here I've got this loose circle and things that look like petals. So if I just sort of darken in the spaces around some of these, it just looks a bit more like something rather than random scribbles, which is essentially exactly what it is. So we're darkening up some of those lines. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself here, and I'm getting into the zone, and I can tell I'm getting into the zone because I'm forgetting to talk at the same time. Like how much different that looks. Oh, they've all been eaten. What's the address? You need chocolate Krispy Kreme. Oh, chalky cake. You have chocolate. Oh, apparently we have chocolate cake, so yeah, we're all having chocolate. Although I think Casey ate a fair amount of it, and there's only one bit of gluten dairy free caterpillar left because I've managed to eat three of those today. Shocking. Right, so I'm adding a little bit of definition with this pen. Don't quite know what else to say now. But already with just a little bit of black, a little bit of extra black outlining, it looks really cool. There we go. Now I want to work on that, as we said, that granulating effect, and I'm just going to take my water and go round all those bits. So this is a combination of various techniques that I've seen really. So we saw the sort of wet sponge thing, and now I'm just going to go around each of these bits that I've drawn with a damp brush, and like I showed on this here, see it's really breaking up now. Can you see the colours now? We've got like a bright blue, we've got a purple, we've got all of those colours just from that black pen. And if we do that on here, we're going to get that same thing happening. So I'm going to go around all the line work that I've done, and then I'm actually just going to pull the colour into some of the areas as well, so that we're going to darken it quite a bit. This would work for a Boeck effect. Yeah, you're going to have to Google that for me, Alistair, because I don't know what Lisa's talking about either. Is that like a Baroque? Not that I know what that is. But there's all sorts of effects that you could do for this. I really can't wait to have a play a lot more. But I think this is the thing when it comes to our craft products. It's like, have a play, and then sometimes when you discover something new like this, like I've got loads of stencils in my stash and I've had them for ages, and I tend to sort of do the same thing. I tend to pull out my inks and just sort of ink through them and slap one of my characters on, and every so often you can discover a new technique. And I think that's one of the fab things about craft and your craft supplies. If it's not a consumable like paper or something like that, if it's your stamps or your stencils, your dies, you discover a new technique and something a bit different, and it just reinvents all the stash that you've currently got. I mean, you don't actually have to run out and buy anything. I mean, we do have an offer on our stencils, so if you want to, feel free. But other than, I mean, most of you probably will have something like this, but you guys are on it tonight. That's me. We're only 20 minutes in, and I've just had Restream, which is the streaming platform that I use to allow me to stream on multiple platforms, has just told me that there's been 100 messages in the chat. So you're busy chatting away today. It's where you have a bright background with like whitened out circles. Oh yeah, you could definitely have that. Definitely is exactly what it is. I want to play with this a lot more, absolutely. But now we've softened all of that. We've created nice shadow areas. And this is where the fact that you don't have to worry about whether you can draw or not. You're just very loosely scribbling around the bit that you lifted. And now because we've gone over the pen with this water and it's doing its own thing, it's sort of breaking it down into the individual pigments. And that's creating the So that's what I was saying earlier. The granulating paint is gorgeous, but you don't, yeah, it's the exact same one. This is just, this is the cheap version of the magic erasers. I think we got these from B&M. I don't know, it's my husband that does all the shopping. It's not something I bought. It's a cleaning supply. I wouldn't buy anything like that, don't be daft. But I will steal it for crafting purposes. So, and this just really appeals to my love of shadows and highlights and stuff like that. So this is looking fabulous. I do kind of want to emphasize some of these shadow areas, so I'm going to pull my paint back in, And I want it to, the corner part to just, I want that to look really dark. Because I think it's great for grounding and composition and stuff like that. That if we just sort of darken some of these elements out. So coming back in with the paint, and just to sort of take some of these areas. And I think, well, as you know I have a love affair with shadowing and all of that sort of stuff, and it just helps to I don't know, deepen it and take it to another level again. So just adding a little bit of extra depth along the edges, just to sort of frame it, for want of a better word. And then again, more for composition's sake, I am going to get some of that dark paint again and bring some down in the other corner. Nice effect. It would be nice for photography and art pieces. You've looked it up. Soft focus with blurry lights. That's the more technical description. Okay, so we've got that, and then I am going to come in and just try and cover the work that we've done, and I'm going to do a little bit of extra splatter. That's gone a bit heavier handed than I would have imagined, but hey ho, it is what it is. And guess what? Now we leave that to dry. Actually, I'm just gonna, I've only done the splatters from one angle and they look very, you can tell when a splatter's only been done from one angle. There we go. That looks a bit better. It looks too uniform. So what we do then is leave that to dry. I am going to have so many of these backgrounds that we'll be able to do something very interesting with them. So now we have something like this. Now this one had a lot more white space like this one that we've just done. So, but the white space has sort of disappeared a little bit. So you do have to be aware that like how things can look at one moment might change, but that's all right. It's all experimental. You'll see from my prep that the different pieces sort of worked out differently on each one. Now there's not much left to do actually. I'm just going to do that same sort of scribbly sketching again, but this time with a white pen. And again, it's that contrast of, we've got those really dark areas now. And so by now going on with white, it will just help to emphasize that again, because white against black is the best contrast you can get. Like white against black is the best contrast. So like those have gone really dark. And so don't worry that if that happens, I mean, it's not particularly how I wanted this one to turn out, but if that does happen and you're thinking, oh, that's bled out way more than I expected, don't panic. Just get out your white pen and it'll have created a slightly different look than you'd imagined, but that's okay. And as I say, I'm not doing any, don't think that this is because I can draw. I'm just following the shapes that we had with the stencils. If you're really bothered by it, you could just, I mean, I think doing it loose like this, I'm holding it really far back. I think that's great. It gives it a gorgeous sketchy effect. But if you were sort of nervous about it, you could just pull your stencils out again and trace the shapes again that you started off with. So for this one, we sort of lost the bleaching effect. It's still sort of there in a look of the layers, but the very first attempt that I did at it, we kept the bleaching effect, so I'll show you both. But these are the sort of thing that I would sort of be mass producing. I would sit down one day and get a whole load of watercolour backgrounds done, and then I would maybe get it again, have another day where you're getting sketching and the doodling done, and just mass produce a whole load of backgrounds. I'm going to just add a few little scribbly bits and bring that out a little bit. And then what I might do as well is just add some sort of like star effects. Look at the state of my desk. You can tell I've been splattering paint on it all day. I'm just doing like little crosses for star effects. There we go. And then I might just, on some of the edges, do a little bit of a scribble there as well. And what I love about if you tape your work down like this is, thank you, Jan. It's a cool way to add, right, oh, that just reminds me. Hang on. Technique where you have various sizes of whitish circles. Yes, Lisa was just talking about that. Hello, Bridget. Hello, 3 Easy Pieces. Sorry, I don't have your name, but hello. Lovely to have you with us. Thank you, Jan. Hello, is it Little Z and me? Lovely to have you. I'm also just going to add a few white splashes as well, because I just like white splashes. But yeah, I've just started playing with this technique today, so I think there's going to be a lot more that we could learn. Thank you so much. Glad you like it. So I'm just going to take the tape off with my washi tape. You get a nice crisp border. So this then could be the front of a card. It could be a page in your journal. How do you think the granulating print would work? Yeah, you would find that the granulation would rip that slightly. The granulation would probably be more prominent. There's all sorts you could do. It's like while the watercolour is drying, you could put cling film bunched up over it. You could leave salts on it. There's lots of different things that you could do for techniques. So this is the one we've just, well, done. This is the one that I sort of teased you with earlier when it was finished. So there's a lot more sort of white space. So they are gorgeous as they are like that. Or, as I said, now where am I? I'm so, there it is. I was going to say, I was really prepared. Where's it gone? That could be the front of a card. I mean, for us, we might just want to put something like that, and then a little sentiment. So it's up to us. You can have a piece of gorgeous watercolour abstract art as is, with a little sentiment at the thing, or something in your journal, and just keep it like that. I mean, that is absolutely gorgeous. And it's like a really modern art thing to do. And it was, yeah, bubble wrap as well. So it was dead easy. Or if you want to use it as a background, you know, we get our characters and our bits and pieces on and we can finish it off like that. Monsters in the night sky. Yeah. I mean, if we'd done that with sort of like teals and greens, that would have been a bit more under the sea. But yeah. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed that. So we do have an offer on our stencils until Monday night. So if you use stencil 20, you'll get a 20% discount off all of our stencils. That is me for this evening. And hopefully, well, I should be back next Thursday. And we will hopefully do something just as interesting and exciting next week as well. And look at that, we've managed to do this together in about 40 minutes. That's got to be a record. So it shows it's a nice, quick and easy technique, and hopefully really effective, and hopefully something that's making you feel inspired. Yeah, we've done something a bit different today, so I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, take care, and I will be back next week. Please do share all your makes with us in the Hive. That's over on Facebook. And yeah, we'll see you again. Take care. Bye. She says, I have to get the mouse to work to say goodbye properly though. Bye everyone.